So this question is from Satish. He says that I am not able to decide my profession, whether I need a job or should I carry on with the business. My father and society affect my mind, and now I'm at the stage of nowhere. How should I know what I'm really for?
I think we already answered this question in a certain way. You need to see what is truly worthwhile for this life to be invested into. Doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter what they think. I think to cure you of this disease, one thing that we need to do is socially we need to do something in this country. In this country we have this problem. One profession is in the sky, another profession is here. This needs to go. It has to happen that an electrician, a plumber, a carpenter has to be on the same level as a doctor, an engineer and whatever else. Can I include yours? No. The manager. Only because we kept them so low, we have such low skills in those areas. Today, in India, you have carpenters. If he fixes a door, if you close it, you can't open it. If you open it, you can't close it. You must check the men's room, whoever is the carpenter, he's just removed the bolt and everything so that I don't know if it's intentional or that's the way it is. So I'm saying we have such carpenters. I must tell you this, I've been telling this to a lot of people because this came into my memory once again because I started riding motorcycles. Those were times when I was riding, crisscrossing India without any destination, simply. So sometimes I ride 3 days and 3 nights non-stop. This was something that, I kind of managed within myself doing certain things that without sleep, riding for 3 nights and 3 days. So this is one night, full night I've ridden early morning. I'm somewhere in Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh border. I stop for a cup of tea and maybe something to eat. Normally I handle my own motorcycle because I'm always on the road. I don't want to trust that with anybody else. But I've just ridden the whole night and stopped here at the dhaba. Next to that I saw a garage, Mubarak Mechanical Works. So, handwritten board. Then there was a strapping young youth. I said, hey, why don't you tighten my chain? Because it's a simple thing. Motorcycles, chains become loose of riding. So I said, all you have to do is take off a link and tighten it a bit. I said, why don't you do it for me? So this guy came out with tools. The tools in his hand were a chisel and a hammer. I looked at this and said, okay, and I kept my tea and I came. But wait, before you touch my motorcycle, I went into his garage to see. The only tools he had in the garage was chisel and hammer. He does everything with this chisel and hammer. But after he's done the job, nobody else can do anything with it anymore. So there's a whole lot of people in life that they're conducting their life like this. They got just one instrument. Right now, this instrument, unfortunately, is called intellect. Somebody is using it. If I ask you a question, do you want a sharp intellect or a dull intellect? You must choose, I'm going to bless you. Sharp or blunt? Sharp. So essentially, your intellect is a cutting instrument. It's like a knife. It slices through things. It dissects things and shows you a few things. But dissection is not a way of knowing entire life. I really want to know you for something. Can we dissect you? If we dissect you, will we know you? We may see your heart, kidney, liver and spleen, but we won't know a thing about you because you won't be there. Yes? Maybe by including you, maybe by embracing you, I may know something. But by dissecting you, I will not know a thing about you, isn't it? So right now, you're using you're a single instrument mechanic. For everything intellect. A human being has many layers of intelligence, many dimensions of intelligence. But we have created an education system where intellect is the only thing that is regarded as intelligence. This is a cutting instrument. With a cutting instrument, if you try to do everything, no wonder. Suppose with a cutting instrument you try to sew, you will leave it in tatters, isn't it? That's all that's happening to life. Why every simple thing is a problem and a question is simply because we are using a cutting instrument to do everything in our life. There are other dimensions of intelligence, especially if you want to manage, let's say, 1,000 or 10,000 people in your life, which is what management means. It's very important. Other dimensions of intelligence are on. With intellect, somebody who comes in front of you, you try to dissect this guy and understand him. You'll make all the wrong conclusions. You must have a different dimension of intelligence and insight that if you see this person, you know what to do with him and what not to do with him. If this much sense doesn't come into you, with intellect if you go, you can talk a lot of management, but you won't be able to manage much. If you do manage much, you will get ulcers. You won't joyfully manage anything because when you do something that you're not competent to do, it will give you hell, isn't it? Oh? If I give you just fireballs and ask you to juggle, it'll drive you crazy. Suppose this is the examination for you this time. If you want to pass your MBA, you must manage 5 balls juggling. You're going to pass. It'll fall all over. What you're not competent of, if you try to do, you'll go crazy. So don't try to do something. Don't try to elevate your activity. See how to elevate this. Say, if you scale up your activity without scaling up this one, you will suffer activity immensely, isn't it? You don't try to up the activity. You scale this up. World will bring the activity to you. But nobody wants to invest time to scale this up. You must scale this being up. Don't worry, where is my job, where is my thing? The world will come to you. They have to come to you. If you are at a certain level of elevation, you think the world won't come to you? They will come to you. They cannot miss you. But instead of that, instead of scaling yourself up, you're scaling the activity and going crazy about doing activity. Even with education, I'm saying, don't try to understand and grasp and all this nonsense. There are ways to deep into deeper dimensions of intelligence within this. See, when I say deeper dimensions of intelligence, to put it very simply, what did you have for breakfast or something?
Ragi dosa.
Okay. Ragi dosa. Boy is becoming Kannada. Ragi dosa doesn't look like you, doesn't feel like you. Doesn't look like any human being, isn't it? But you eat a ragi dosa, it goes inside. Over 3-4 hours time it becomes you. Isn't it so? So there is an intelligence here which can turn a ragi dosa into a human being. Is it a small thing? Is it a small phenomenon, I'm asking? You've taken this for granted? If I can take a ragi dosa in my hand and make it into a human being, who do you think I am? Hello? God? Creator himself, isn't it? But every day you're doing this. But unconsciously. This is the human predicament. Whatever you're unconscious of, it does not exist for you, isn't it? Right now, look at the back of the hall, there's a huge dinosaur. Don't turn back, please. There's a huge dinosaur, such a big animal. But you are not conscious of it. It doesn't exist for you, isn't it? Such a huge animal. But you are not conscious, it doesn't exist. Similarly, right here, the very source of creation functioning, an intelligence which can make a ragi dosa into a human being exists right here. But you are not conscious of it, it doesn't exist for you. If it was somewhere and you did not see it, it's okay. If it's within you and you did not see it, this is a tragedy, isn't it? Hello? When there is such a dimension of intelligence which can turn a piece of bread into a human being, should you not delve into it in some way? Should you not find a way to dip your hands into it? If a drop of this intelligence became a conscious process within you, you will live magically, not miserably, never. And you don't have to worry what to do. World will come and ask you to do all kinds of things when they see you are elevated. So when you're young, this should be the focus, how to build this human being to a place. Not just how to get to that place. That place is only a social place, it's not existential, isn't it? You are a CEO of a company, it's only a social thing, it's not existential. But when you are elevated as a life, it's existential, it stays with you. Whatever is needed in that time in which we exist, we will be able to do it because we have the necessary altitude within us. When we met a little earlier, why this youth and truth? Literally incessantly in these last many years that I have been out meeting people and doing the work that we are doing, thousands and thousands of people have asked me this same question. Sadhguru, where were you 25 years ago? Where were you when I was 25? Why did you come so late? If you had met me when I was 20, I would have done this, this and this, but you came so late. So I thought we will step out and meet all those people in the country who are below 25 years of age. And here we are. So essentially, life means a certain amount of time and energy. This is what we call as life. Unfortunately, most people forget this. Oh, this person has covered his face completely. Oh, I didn't notice you. The videos will be out soon, so don't worry. So, essentially, life is a certain combination of time and energy. Time is slipping away for all of us at the same pace, which most people don't realize when they're young. And energy is at its best when you're youthful, which also most youth don't realize. They think they're going to be like this forever. It's not so. Energies will deplete and go down. So when energy is at your peak, and time is anyway running out for everybody, if we can bring little more clarity and balance to that life that we call as youth, I think tremendous things can happen. Above all, every human being carries a certain genius within himself or herself. How many people manage to find the necessary balance and atmosphere for themselves where this genius will unfold? Unfortunately, that percentage is extremely minuscule right now. This is an effort to increase that percentage. Because if you bring the right atmosphere within yourself, one's genius will unfold. In our lives, if we do not do what we cannot do, it's not an issue. But in our lives, if we do not do what we can do, we are a disaster. If our own potential doesn't unfold, we will end up with a life who did not do what we could have done. So this is just an attempt. And India, being a youthful nation, unless we create a focused, balanced, inspired youth, we could be a miracle if we do that. If we leave youth unfocused, imbalanced, uninspired, we have a recipe for a disaster. So we thought we will reach out to you so you can ask further kind of questions.
Namaskaram Sadhguruji. It gives me immense pleasure on behalf of the entire IMB community to welcome you here. Thank you so much for taking the time out, sir. It's been a lot of pleasure for me to welcome Sadhguruji here. Sadhguruji, ever since that we know that you are coming here, so our forms have been floated with a lot of questions. We have selected the
But
top.
why are you dressed like a bridegroom?
I have a question for that.
Is there something coming up today?
Hopefully, yes. So, sir, it gives me immense pleasure, sir. So we have plethora of questions that we had. It's taken a lot of time to figure out the best questions. So without wasting any time, let's get started, guys. So, Sadhguruji, one of the most trending questions that we have here on campus is FOMO, the fear of missing out. We have the fear of missing out on activities, we have the fear of missing out on our placements, we have the fear of missing out on anything whatsoever under the roof. So, Sadhguruji, I have a question for you here, is when do we realize that it's the end? We have to stop this, and this should not influence our decision making. I think a lot of our community would resonate with this question, and we want your perspective on this, sir.
Say, fear of missing out. Let's look at life a little beyond. Your stay in the educational institution is only a transition, only to equip yourself for something you have come. You have not come to an educational institution as a destination. It's a packaging place. It's a package you nicely so that you can... You package pretty well today.
Thank you, sir.
So, not making a commentary on education, but how we go through it. About missing out, the fear of missing out. First of all, fear. Let's address fear before we address missing out. Fear is always about what may happen or may not happen, right? Fear is not about what we are experiencing right now. What will happen is always the fear. Or in other words, your fear is about something which is not yet. Your fear is about something which does not exist. This is all management people. If there were somebody from a psychiatry department, you could have asked them, if I have fear about something that does not exist, what is my condition? They would have a title for you. Yes, Nemans is close by, I think. We can always consult, that is also a premier institution. We are suffering something which doesn't even exist. Yes? If you're suffering something that doesn't even exist, it is not about life. It is not about education. It's not about career. It is just about your mind being out of control. Is that not an important aspect that you should manage first before we allow you to manage an industry or a business, is it not important first of all you learn to at least manage your mind? Oh, isn't it important? If you do not know how to manage your mind, what the hell are you going to manage in the world? Managers are all freaking out and growing ulcers in their stomachs. Yes, today it's become normal. If you are a CEO by 45, if you don't have an ulcer, you're not a great CEO. Because you are managing by accident like this. The fear comes because there is an accidental possibility, isn't it? Tell me, let's say you don't know how to ride a bicycle. You sat on it, it was on stand, you were just pedaling for fun. It came off stand and started rolling. Anxiety or no? Started rolling faster. Fear or no? Very fast. Terror or no? It's not because bicycle produces terror. It is just that you don't know how to ride. If you know how to ride, faster it goes, the better it is. Isn't it? Faster it goes, the better it is. The very basis why we created a bicycle is because we wanted to go faster than walking. That's the idea. But if you do not know how to ride, how much fear it creates. Right now your problem is not with the world, your problem is not with your education, your problem is your education system, right from kindergarten, hasn't told you a damn thing about how to manage yourself. They think you're going to manage the world without knowing how to manage yourself. When you are a mess, you can only create a mess, isn't it? You may be successful. Success happens for a variety of reasons. Success is not always 100% yours. There are situations, there are times which support us in many different ways. Of course, your bit is there. But just because somebody is successful, this doesn't mean they've figured out everything. This doesn't mean they're at ease with life. This doesn't mean their life is in some way fulfilled. No, because today our idea of success is just doing little better than somebody else. You doing little better than somebody else means, and you're very happy about that, what it means is you're actually enjoying other people's failures. If somebody enjoys another person's failure, I call that sickness, not success. What do you call it? Hello? I enjoy that you failed. This is sickness. This is not success, isn't it? Unfortunately, this is how you're going. This is the reason why human potential is not unleashed. Because if you're racing with a lame person, you're just happy you're one step ahead of him. Only when you meet Mr. Bold, you understand who the hell you are. Yes? Till then you think you are a great runner because the other person doesn't have legs. So it's very important that there is nothing to miss out in life. Life is happening to all of us. Question is only, if I miss this party, am I missing out something? If I miss this examination, I am missing out something. If I miss this job, am I missing out something? This is simply because right now, who you are is not internally managed. It is externally stimulated. You're still in a very controlled campus, a very beautiful campus you have, I have to say, wonderful campus. And you're in a very controlled campus atmosphere. When you step out into the world, if you leave it to the people to decide what happens within you, they're going to drive you crazy in no time. Here it's all managed for you. You're not managing this. It's managed for you. What should happen to you, what should not happen to you, somebody else is managing it. When you step out on the street, if you leave it to other people's hands that they can decide whether you're happy or unhappy, you're going to be miserable for sure. Because they want to do many things. What happens within you must be determined by you, isn't it? And anyway, Why are you copying people? Most people don't know what the hell they're doing. This happened. Shankaran Pillai joined Pentagon. He was working in Pentagon. Then he kept moving his work table from one office to another office, another office to another office. He went on moving around. Then he moved to the corridor, he moved into the garden, he moved here, there. Then he moved into the men's restroom and settled down there and started working. Everybody was looking at this. What's wrong with him? Some problem. Initially they thought he's a Russian agent. Then he thought he must be a Muslim terrorist. Then they thought all those things, then everything. He didn't cause any harm to anybody. Then he settled down in the men's restroom and started working. So they told the Pentagon psychiatrist that this guy's gone lonely, he's working in the men's room. And he settled down and he's just doing his work there. So the psychiatrist just strolled in as if he wanted to use the men's room and started chatting. Then he found he was quite normal, everything was fine with him. He said, why are you sitting in the men's room and working? He said, I moved everywhere and saw. In the end, I find this is the only damn place where people know what they're doing.
Thank you, Sadhguruji. My next question is, we've all seen the movie Three Idiots, and there is one dialogue I think that...
What happened to the remaining idiots? They left them here.
So there is one dialogue in the movie that resonates with a lot of us, and it says, "जब friend fail होता है तो दुख होता है, but जब friend pass top करता है तो और ज़्यादा दुख होता है." And building on to how you're affected by what people do, my question is it okay to have that feeling? And if not, how do you let go of that feeling in today's environment?
See, Charles Darwin, you've heard of Charles Darwin. There's something called a revolution. And nobody told you it's all complete. Today, some of the neuroscientists are saying the DNA difference between a chimpanzee and you is only 1.23%. 1.23% is not much of a difference, isn't it? So there's an evolutionary issue. If you don't take charge of yourself, very easily you will step back 1.23%. Now, I can't repeat that sentence, but anyway, if your friend does not do well, you'll feel sad about it. If he does very well, you'll feel very sad about it. So you have fixed yourself in such a way, whichever way you cannot be happy. You are in a self-defeating mode. No matter what happens, you will not be happy. If you want to understand what I'm saying, you go and stand out on one of the main streets in Bangalore city. Leave the poor people who are selling kadlekai on the street side, leave them. People who are driving only look at those BMWs, Mercedes and Maseratis and whatever is going around in Bangalore city. Only look at the dream cars, okay? Because many of you may have dreams also of this. Just look at all these people. You think they are in a profusion of joy driving this car like that? No. Only in case it's a stolen car, you see the joy. Otherwise, no. So success has not brought joy to them. If they failed, of course they are frustrated. Because the very mode of approach is like this. If this mode of approach comes, whichever way, it's not going to work. Because it's not even about you. It's always about somebody here. It's never about you. The simple thing is this. See, if your joy, your sadness, your happiness, your misery is determined by something or somebody around you, the chances of you being joyful in your life is remote. So, is it true that human experience is created from within? Hello? Hello? I'm asking all of you. Is it true that human experience, joy or misery, agony or ecstasy, madness or sanity, everything is created from inside? At least if you're a manager, if you're going to be a manager, at least what is happening from within you must happen your way. Because essentially management means having situations the way we want it. Yes. Management means what? Having situations the way we want it. Well, if the world is not happening your way, at least this one must be happening your way, otherwise what kind of management is this? Here there's only one person. Huh? Here there are 1,000 people. They may not listen to you. They are their own stuff. But here there's only one person. At least here what you want must happen, isn't it? If what you want happen, would you keep yourself blissed out or miserable? What's your choice? You must choose. I'm going to bless you now. If you had a choice, would you rather be blissed out or miserable? Huh? Blissed out, of course. So if such a thing is not happening, then all these problems come. If things work, it is a problem. If they don't work, it's a problem. If you get a seat in this institution, it's a problem. If you cannot get out of this, it's a problem. You like this place so much, you don't mind staying here. It's not like that. You must get in and you must get out ahead of others. Everything. It's never about you. It's always about something else. Outside is a variable situation. Who these people are today, tomorrow we don't know what they will say. Yes? Tomorrow morning we don't know what they will say. If your way of being is determined by all these people, then you are a mess. You're bound to be a mess. When you're a mess like that, see, you call yourself a friend. If they fail, you're unhappy. If they pass, you're very unhappy. Definitely we should not use the word friend in this context. Yes, competition. I agree. Not a friend, isn't it? If your friend does well, shouldn't you be very happy? If there's really friendship. Leave the friendship business. Essentially, this problem is coming because we have not taken charge of this fundamental human mechanism. This is not happening the way you want it. Is it true that your body right now is the greatest chemical factory on the planet? It is so. It is the most complex and sophisticated chemical factory on the planet. The question is only, are you a great CEO or a lousy CEO? Because if you're a great CEO, you would create chemistry of bliss. If you're a lousy CEO, all these things will happen. Your industry should run the way you want it, so at least this one little industry.
So most